Hey there, Chad here, and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program in 2021. This is a tutorial of the career mode of Kerbal Space Program, and in this episode I'm going to demonstrate farming a little bit of science around the base. I am not going to grab every last science point that's available here, but I want to show you how some of this works and what you can do to capitalize on it. There is a lot of science right here on this screen right now. Virtually, well, I shouldn't say virtually, but many of these locations, this building here, these satellite dishes, these are all mini biomes, and we can get to them and collect science with the different experiments we have, and we can do that at every one of these spots and gain a considerable amount of science to help build out our tech tree. I will need to spend some of those science points that I just earned in the previous episode in order to do some of what I want to do today. I want these aviation parts. The aviation is going to give me some pieces for an airplane, basically. It looks like Cessna landing gear. That'll give us some wheels to roll on. There's a fancy cockpit. I'm going to end up using that. So long story short, we're going to research this. I don't tend to enjoy the aviation part of the game. I really prefer the rockets and going to the other planets. I have not built a space plane. It is possible to do so, and kudos to those that get it done. It's just not something that has really interested me in trying. Maybe at the end of this tutorial series I'll give that a go. But in the meantime, I tend to use the space plane hangar for building little ships. Okay, so this is the inside of the space hangar. This is where space planes can be built and where we get access to aviation parts. Now, I don't really enjoy that part of the game. I think I just said that over when we were buying some science, but there are some really good uses for this. And I'm going to start in this particular one by, I'm going to put in a cockpit, and I'm going to add a bunch of science juniors. I'm going to add 3 of them. I think that probably gets done what I want. And then, let's see, next I want to put on some fuel and some engines. Now, from an engine perspective, a space plane can use a jet engine. This is a basic jet engine. There are 3 or 4 jet engines as you move through the tech tree, I think, and they get more and more powerful. This is the Juno. It's the most basic one. Not a lot of force. Sips fuel, which is very useful. Right now I don't have the parts that make this easy to work with. It is much smaller than the size of everything else, and that's a small problem. It's not a big problem, but it's enough of a problem for what I want to do that I'm actually not going to use the jet engine. I'm going to use a rocket engine. I'm not sure if that's the smartest move or not, but we're doing really short local stuff, so I think it'll be okay. And I just need to get that lined up. There we go. Come on, there you are. Had it. There it is. And I think I'm going to use these Thud engines. They look kind of fun. Put 2 of those on. That'll work. Let's put some more science stuff on here. I'm keeping track of my part count because that could get messy if I'm not paying attention to it. We can put these anywhere, really. We could put them up here. Actually, that's probably a good idea. Let's stack the science in the front. So some pressure, some thermometers. Let's just get this right. There we go. We're only at 13 parts. I kind of feel like I could put a few more of these. I don't know that I'll use them all, but they're nice to have. Let's put these up on the nose. Did I block the door there? I don't think I did. Nope, I just blocked the NASA logo, so that's fine. 2 more pressure indicators, 2 more thermometers. That is a lot of science on this ship. We're only at 19 parts. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move this a little bit. Let's put it, they're going to be up here. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of these structural parts, this girder segment, modular girder segment. I'm going to put 2 of these up here, and their sole purpose is to keep me from flipping over on accident. might be a little low. Put them like this. So the tools that I have right now for a ground unit with wheels, they're not really solid pieces. They're generally kind of small. We're gonna put the front wheel there. They're kind of small, and it's a little tipsy. It wants to flip over on its own kind of easily. Obviously, that's not great for for moving around. So that looks backwards, doesn't it? Oh boy, I missed. Put that there. Let's grab that, and that's upside down. There we go. Put these here. How's that look? Okay, I'm going to use the rotate tool to correct that a little bit, make that look a little more squarish. Okay, I guess I need to grab it out here. There we go. It's riding a little low. It's not horrible though. Front to back is a little weird too. There we go. That's okay. That's weird. They both point the same way. It looks good there. All right. I'm also going to use the move tool, and I'm going to just drop those down a fraction. Full step. That looks pretty good. One more. And put them in. Come on. There we go. Okay. That is my rocket car. Or my rover. It's not really a rover so much. It will be piloted. Jeb will sit in here. Later there's a second piece that allows you a co-pilot, which is pretty cool. You can put an engineer on there or a researcher, a scientist, and he can come and reset some of your experiments for you if you wish. And that's kind of nice. I don't think there's anything else I want to put on here. Now, it's important to note this is not intended to leave the ground. You'll notice there's no wings on it, and that's entirely intentional. What I want to demonstrate is where you can get some really easy science points. So of course, I could do this all right here on the runway, and that would be completely okay. This is what I will get for those studies. I'm going to hold off on that for just a bit. First, I'm going to fire up my engine, but I'm not going to throttle it up. I just want to start it. So I've started the stage, and now I can drive a little bit. Okay. And I don't want to go too fast. This isn't really meant to. It's not meant to, be flying down the runway. At least not in its current stage. It is not terribly stable. That's why I put those front girders on there to keep, when that happens, to keep from blowing up. So I need to keep it under 10, I guess. Also, the runway is not conducive. If I had the concrete runway, which will be the next upgrade, I think. I should have probably done that already. This would be a little bit easier. Okay, I think we're going to leave the runway. I think the grass is honestly smoother. We're going to head over there to the flagpole. The flagpole is a biome in and of itself. And so what that means is when we get to the flagpole, you'll notice we just changed our state. We're now at Kerbal Shores. We're landed, of course. And so we would potentially have other science we could do. Also, I have a brake, and I can use the B key to brake. You'll notice that light lights up when I do it. Or if I want it to hold, I can click it there and it'll stay on. I don't need to brake just yet, but I also don't want to hit this little berm here very hard. That might not be good. Now the good news is these engines have a lot of thrust in them. Although you'll notice I'm really going through the fuel. So again, this vehicle is not meant for longevity. It's meant to grab us a few cheap points of science, and it will be done with its job. So I'm going to go over there to the flagpole. This is the administration building. That is not the same as the flagpole. This is a biome as well, but it's not the one I want to demonstrate first. So, oops, that was the wrong key there. What I want to do is roll up to the flagpole, and I literally want to make contact with it. You'll notice we've changed biomes again, or situations over here. And I literally want to make contact with it. boink. And now that I'm in contact with it, it came off. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna set the brake. It still says I'm at the astronaut complex. That's really interesting. Usually it doesn't do that. Okay, there we go. We're starting to see it bounce back and forth a little bit. I'm in the flagpole or not. Now the trick is, can I get it to think I'm staying at the flagpole? There we go. I'm at the flagpole. I'm going to run the material study. I'm going to run the goo study. Atmospheric pressure, temperature. I'll even take the crew report. So the bad news about this is, now if I had an antenna, I could transmit it. I hadn't thought of that. I could transmit the crew report each time. But you only get one crew report on this. I can load up these science projects a lot, but that's all I can do there. Now you notice I released the brake, or at least I hit the B key for a moment. I'm no longer at the flagpole. I'm now at the astronaut complex again. I can run these again. It's a different biome. Oops, I just did that. I don't want to do that again. Recycle that. Mystery goo, atmospheric scan, temperature scan. Okay, so I've run 2 sets of experiments. Now, it is possible I could be stuck here and not able to get off of there. We'll see if I can kind of work it free. Sometimes you can do that. Kill it, it might roll backwards a little bit. Doesn't look like it wants to do that for me right now. And that's okay. I've kind of demonstrated what I wanted to do. One thing I have done in the past is I've put antennas on here, and you can extend the antenna to touch something and then you can retract it to pull away from it. When you're up against a building, that's great. So ultimately though, I think I'm kind of stuck here. I'm going to go ahead and recover, and we should have maybe 20 science points, thereabouts. 34 science points, not too shabby. I'll collect that. Paid back for our parts. I clicked the wrong building, didn't I? That's a shame. Let's go to the other building. So here it is, and then from the open, I can open the autosave, which is the last one that I did. And there it is again. Let's launch it again. Actually, let's not launch it again. I'm going to upgrade the runway, demonstrate how much cleaner that can be. So upgrade for 75,000. And I'm going to go in the space hangar, spaceplane hangar. There we go. Let's go ahead and launch again. Should see this roll a little more smoothly this time. And I'm going to go ahead and run these. I didn't last time. I thought I might try to visit 3 buildings, but you know, let's not get greedy. Just running each of those. That'll grab a little bit of science. Starting the stage. And giving it a kick. And it's not running all that much more smooth, is it? Some of that is the balance. This is not a terribly well designed craft, as you can tell. That is the minimum thrust, by the way. I really can't do anything outside of that. Kind of playing with the thrust a little, see if I can relieve some of the pressure by vectoring a little bit. It's not really helping all that much. What I want to demonstrate here real quick is if we go to something like the tracking station, if I can get over there, it might be a little harder than I realized. One cool thing is as you move through the research tree, there will be some wheels that are powered, so you don't have to do this kind of garbage. They're battery powered. You can have solar panels, and you have the ability to just roll, which is kind of nice. I don't have to worry about firing up an engine in that. And tracking station, and now tracking station dish north. This is all separate biome. So let's grab what we can. And I'm doing another crew report. I didn't have enough electrical charge to complete the send of that, which isn't unusual. I don't have batteries yet, so it's all basically what the cockpit could do. The engines would recharge it some, but I'm already beyond where I could send it, so. Okay, what's going on there? We are stuck. Okay, there we go. But just to demonstrate, so that was the north dish. This will be a different dish over here, and of course the main building is interesting that it looks like it's under construction. That's kind of cool. Never really understood that. That's not new exactly, but for level 2 it looks like it's under construction. And that was the wrong button. Don't lose the science. I don't think I lost the science, so I'm going to call it there. He can still run these. We'll go ahead and run what we can, but ultimately this would have been a different biome. Yeah, that's what happens when you hit the wrong buttons now and again. All right, job will recover. That was fun. Maybe I'll make a blooper reel at some point. So 60 points of science were earned, and we're up to 123 points. That's pretty awesome. And there we go. Okay. That wraps up this episode of how to grab some of that low-hanging science. So you can grab science on the runway, space plane hangar, mission control, the launch pad, tracking station, research and development, administrative building, astronaut complex, the flagpole, vehicle assembly building, and some of these auxiliary buildings are separate as well, including these dishes. That's the real obvious one. Those are easy to spot. The research and development property starts to get a whole lot of buildings. If they're all individual, man, that is tons and tons of science. I'm not entirely sure that that's exactly how that one ends up working. I'm not sure if this is a separate building right now. I might give that a try and let you know in the next episode. But until that next episode, thanks for watching and fair travels.